Alright guys, so this video I'm going to try and make another hydroponic bed, and it's going to be real interesting. We're running out of space, but I want to try to utilize all of the greenhouse. So there was part of me really that wanted to take these shelves out and just sit everything on the ground, on the floor. But I just I don't really want to do that. I've decided. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make a hydroponic bed, a wooden bed with a plastic liner in this area, and it's going to come from here to the back wall over to these, and it's just going to cover this whole area. So I got to find a spot to put this. I'll probably have to put this one because it's a little not as wide right here where this one is, and then I have to find a spot for this. And then I also have another container out there that I'm going to use. So I got two containers with nowhere to put them. So that's the first problem. And the other problem is I got to figure out how to support this. It's going to come over to here, so it can, this side can sit on top of this shelf, but then it's going to come over here, and I got to find something to support it over here. I could make a base for it, and that's what I was originally going to do. And I thought about putting it outside, just making like a big bed outside, a raft bed outside, but I don't know, I don't like the idea of having to constantly monitor the nutrients. Because it rains, and then you gotta empty it out, and you gotta keep an eye on your nutrient solution because it gets, diluted. And what I'm thinking is I got this old piece of a planer right here, and I measured it out there, and my shelf is 36 inches tall, and this is 27 inches tall, so I need 9 more inches. And I've got cinder blocks, which is 7.5 inches. I measured them, and then I can put a piece of wood on here, a 2x, which is 1.5 inches, and then that'll give me my 9 inches. And these, I don't know how well you can see it, but this thing has adjustable feet on it, so you've got a good 1/2 inch of, maybe even 1 inch of adjustability there to get it, right. So what I'm thinking is I take this, after we've built our bed, I'm going to take this and I'm going to put a 2x on top of it, screw it to the top of it, and then put cinder blocks on top of that, and then put the bed on top of that. So we'll see how that goes. And then this is going to be our base for our bed. And I'm going to try to use this 6mm plastic here. I got a bunch of it. So we'll see if if any of it's got a hole in it. It should be all right. And I might double layer it. And then I got some scrap wood the other day from my mom. Right here, some 2x8s. So I'm going to use those for the frame. And yeah. And then I'll also use that for the 2x that I was talking about a minute ago. Sit on top of our little table. So we'll see. We'll get to it. We're going to build out our frame first. We'll do a couple more measurements just to make sure I know what I'm doing here. But the idea is to try and keep that piece of plywood, intact, because I just want to utilize the whole thing. And I think it's going to fit perfectly in that spot. So we're going to try to use that whole piece of plywood, and we're just going to cut out four pieces here, and then make us a hydroponic bed. guys, sorry about the poor light quality, but we got it in here, and that's how it's going to fit. It actually fits nicer than I thought it was going to. And something I did figure out is this shelf over here is really starting to sag. So I'm probably going to have to put something right here. Maybe cut one of my 4x4s and try to jack this back up, because my calculations were a little off because of that, because I was measuring from the outside of the shelf here, but it seems like it's sagged about almost an inch really on the outside of this shelf. So when I put this all the way back to the back side of the shelf, from the back side of the shelf to here, it was like almost an inch out of level. But I had another scrap board that I threw under it, and as you can see now, we're pretty much perfectly level. So I think I'll probably just cut one of my 4x4s and put it right here in this corner down to the floor, and that ought to work nicely. I'll just tie it into the shelf, and it's going to need that extra support anyway. So there we go. We got our box made. We got it in here. It's the dead of night. I still think I'm going to be able to get to everything. It's going to be kind of a stretch to reach over to that last one, but not too bad. So next we got to put our plastic liner in here, and I'll have to decide if I'm going to double it up. I got plenty of plastic liner, so I could double it up if I wanted to, and then we'll fill it with water and see if it holds. But first things first, I'm gonna re-support this just to help that, and yeah. All right, guys. So here we go. We got our plastic in here. And basically we're just gonna fill her up, and as we fill up, we're gonna try to work out as many of the creases as we can, get a decent fit around the edges. So we'll get to it. Alright guys, so we got our nutrients all filled, or well, our water all filled up, and I'll show you what we're gonna use. I'm just gonna grab some of these little 1-bys that I have, and I'll probably use them to kind of pull back this material where it doesn't want to, which it seems fine over here, and back here I don't think we're going to have to really do anything, but back on that back side there we'll have to put something on top of it to kind of hold it back, and then over here I put that one up on there like that. So we're not going to have any wind or anything in here, so not really going to have to worry about it knocking it over. But so next we're going to make our raft that we're going to put our plants in, and I'll show you here in a second. But the styrofoam that I'm using, it's a pretty good thickness, so you don't want this all the way to the top, because I want that styrofoam to be pretty much as close to flush with the top of this board as I can. So that's why you'll see it's quite a bit shorter. The depth of the water is quite a bit shorter than the board. So we'll go inside and we'll make up our raft. Alright guys, so here's what our raft's going to be made out of. Some styrofoam, plastic stuff, insulation, whatever it is. I got a big 8x4 foot sheet of it, and I've used some of it. And so basically I just measured the inside of our bed, and you can see I've already marked it off where it's going to go, and you can see this stuff's real thick, and our net cup's going to go in here like this and just stick out the bottom just a little bit, just enough. It's going to be perfect, and it's real light, floats real easy on the water. So I'm going to use this little hacksaw I got here and give that a go on it. This is, just so you know, this stuff is really not very dense. and it really crumbles as you're cutting it, and so it makes a real mess everywhere, just so you know. But basically the reason that I haven't used this yet is because I was really trying to think about what I wanted to do with it, and I realized that this stuff is it's got so much air bubbles and stuff in it, you know, like it's just so light, and it's not dense at all, that it just lets sunlight right through it. I mean, it doesn't stop it at all. So what we're going to have to do is cut it out, and we're going to cut our holes for our net cups in it, and then we're going to cover it in aluminum foil to stop the light penetration, and then we'll set it in our bed. Alright, so there we are. We got our holes drilled. You can see I was kind of trying to mark some grids and figure out some spacing. I ended up doing about 6-inch spacing, which is really aggressive spacing, I think some would say, but we'll find out, I guess. It is going to be lettuce going into this container. Here we are, looking for this. It is going to be lettuce going in here, so it may or may not be all right. But the nice thing is that you can always thin it out and just cover the holes in aluminum foil if you so desire. But what I'm probably going to do is just put a bunch of lettuce in here and see if it'll grow, if it doesn't kill each other fighting over space. I think it'll be a nice little experiment. So it's not quite 6-inch spacing. It's one way is like 6 1/4, and then the other way is like 5 3/4 or something like that. But that's how many lettuce I'm gonna plant. So I wanted to make sure I had enough holes. So next we're gonna take our aluminum foil and just wrap it up in aluminum foil. And then we'll poke holes in all the holes, and then we'll be ready to put it in our bed. Alright, so there we go. I'm a little short on net pots right now, so I gotta go grab some more, but I put them on the outside just to help hold the aluminum foil on there. But you get the idea. I just cover an aluminum foil, fold it over the edges, and then poke little holes in here, and then spread it out, drop my net cups in. So now we're going to go sit it out there in our hydroponic garden bed. Alright, so there we go. We got her in the bed. It kind of crumpled up the aluminum a little bit there on that edge, so I'll have to figure out how to fix that a little bit. Might need to come in from that side or something, but it ain't too bad. It'll be alright, I think. And it's a pretty snug fit over here in this corner, so we might need to trim it up just a little bit. But as you can see, the water level is perfect. I mean, it's just a little bit of water at the bottom, and I don't know how well you can see this, but You can see how it floats. Kind of hard to tell, but it's floating on the water right now. Alright, so since this is a little tight over here, what I'll probably end up doing is pulling it back out and just trimming that a little bit, or seeing if I can just take some of that aluminum foil out of there. Maybe that's what's wedging it, but the rest of it's pretty much perfect. It's moving freely. So just the one corner, probably because this is out of square, or I cut it out of square a little bit, and I'll have to lift it up anyway because I got to put my nutrients in there still. But we'll do that tomorrow. I'll show you in another video what I'm all going to be planting in here, and the nutrient mix, and we'll get to that. So there you go. That's our hydroponic garden bed made up in our greenhouse. Thanks for watching.